He got off the team bus first, led the team out of the tunnel, scored on his first drive at Nebraska, and was out of the game midway through the third quarter. Hello, everybody. I'm Sam McKewon with the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra. And Dylan Raiola had himself a day, folks. Nebraska wins easily, 40-7, but the bigger story today is obviously going to be the first start of Dylan Raiola. He was pretty good, folks. He threw a couple of touchdowns, one to Isaiah Nayor, the other one to Jamal Banks. He executed a 2-minute drill really well, hit 3 passes on that drive, down the ball when he had to, threw it in a spot where only Banks could get it right before the end of the first half. And again, it was pretty, folks. Nebraska's defense did its usual thing, holding UTEP to 205 yards, but the Husker offense had 507 yards. And the way that they got it done, 223 on the ground, 284 through the air, isn't like anything we saw last season. Nebraska was able to throw the football today, and they promised that they had worked on it in the offseason, and that is exactly what we saw. It was good early. Dylan Raiola hit a key third down to Isaiah Nayor on that first drive. That set up a touchdown by Dante Dowdell. Raiola then hit that long pass to Nayor, 59 yards. Well, that was Nayor making a great play and then breaking a couple of tackles, but Raiola was really good on that pass as well. And then the 2-minute drill was probably his best work of all. Took a sack, came out for a play, went back in, and delivered. It was very pretty. Nebraska's run offense was pretty good today. They only had one long run. Emmett Johnson had 42 yards on a run. But they dominated physically, and they probably could have had 300 today, but Matt Rule decided to put in his backups about midway through the third quarter. All 4 backs played. I don't know who played the best. Probably Dante Dowdell until he fumbled, but then they didn't put him back in after he fumbled. Ramir Johnson probably got the most totes. Gabe Ervin got 2 touchdowns. He didn't play necessarily a ton, but he got 2 scores. And Emmett Johnson, I thought, probably ran the best, but they're going to continue that competition in the next week when they play Colorado. Defensively, Nebraska gave up the one long play. Right, the one long pass on kind of a slot fade over Malcolm Hartzog's head. That was the only time today they did not manage Utah's tempo well. I'm sure Matt Rule will talk about it in the post-game press conference, but it's really not that big of a deal. Nebraska's defense was very good today, holding the Miners to just 56 yards rushing, and they did that without a bunch of sacks, so this was a really good run defense day. Everything you could want out of a season opener, they actually got for the first time since 2019. They played at home. It's a beautiful day. Nebraska's defense played well, and Raiola delivered. In front of a big crowd, they gave him a big roar when he ran out onto the field. He was very impressive early and often. And again, he's out of the game midway through the third quarter, throwing for more than 200 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Now the tests get tougher from here. Colorado, which beat North Dakota State on Thursday night, is a much better football team than UTEP. I won't be surprised if UTEP only wins 2 or 3 games this year. I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me, Colorado is a better team than they were last year, and they are probably a bowl team in the Big 12. That is a good football team coming in here, and they have a great quarterback in Shedeur Sanders. But guess what? As the crowd yells for Dylan Raiola as he walks off the field, but guess what? Nebraska's got a quarterback now, too. Raiola can sling it, folks. He can throw it sidearm. He can throw it over the top. He can do what needs to be done, and Nebraska's got receivers. And Banks and Nayor were as good as many of the guys in the Big Ten. I'm not saying Ohio State good, but they're pretty good. And Nebraska now invites Colorado into this atmosphere, 6:30 Saturday night. Next week, it should be a zoo. It should be a lot of fun. It'll be Sanders against Raiola, and it could be closer than last year's competition for sure. For the Omaha World-Herald and Husker Extra, I'm Sam McKewon.